Hello, in this demo, let's talk about enterprise decision management and the tools and concepts to build applications that take better and more reliable decisions. So this demo is a vehicle insurance demo, and the different aspects about it is that the decisions are not going to be in code but in a model, and we're going to see why that's important in a second. For now, let me show you here the repository that you can use. InsuranceHub will be linked below the video, and I'll just go ahead and start a code spaces with this repo. I'll go with new with options here just so I can add more cores for our demo that will help to be faster. So while the code space is being created, I'm going to tell you why this is different and why this application is so relevant. So we're going to use models, not static code determined, in our case, the vehicle insurance quote, the vehicle value, and the risk rates are not going to be embedded in the code, but in a model represented visually so that analysts can change and adapt without changing the application, without needing developer time. And this is a concept we refer as accountable AI, which means decisions that are transparent, that are not hidden inside your application code, that are auditable. So that if 1 year after a quote is given, an auditor internally or externally asks why this quote had this value, or why this person was hired, or why this decision, whichever it is, was taken in that way, you can justify it. You can show the model and you can show the data and see why the system behaves the way it does. It's separable, so business analysts can own the rules and build the rules the way they want it, and engineers build applications on top of it so they can work independently. And be efficient is a very important part of this for me, because you don't need to spend AI tokens or anything like that, external APIs, just to make business decision. So that's the key part. And for that, we're going to use a tool called the Cogito, the key inference engine, the key runtime. That's an open source Apache project, but we're going to use a specific flavor of this called the Aletyx Decision Control. And you can find more information about that on aletyx.ai. And there you can also start now and request your credentials. So if you want to reproduce this demo exactly, you need those credentials. You're going to see why in a second. So here our demo is already starting in the building code space link here, or if you check the logs, you can see the demo building. I really like using code spaces for demos because they spin up everything you need without me giving all the steps and instructions to reproduce it. Here, the only setting that we have is the credentials. So here in my settings on GitHub, you can see under code spaces, I have secrets set so I can pull from the Aletyx registry with my username and password. Also, this is visible to my repository. So this is the only things that needs to be set, so you can pull the decision control images from the workspace. And once it is up, everything will be provisioned and already working, so you have the full application. So the goal of this app is to give you an quote for vehicle insurance in this way where the model is separate from the app itself. Let me open the model while our code space builds. So I'll do it on my local VS Code instance. We're going to be able to do the same in a minute inside our code spaces environment. So if I go here under models, you can see a car quote DMN model, which is a very simple model. Here, calculating two things: the estimated vehicle value based on the make, year, and model of the car, and the risk rate based on the drivers and a bit of the car mileage, and information about the driver. So as you can see, this is a visual model, and in each of those items we have either data or decisions. And here, for example, in the estimated vehicle value decision, I have a decision table. So based on the car make and model and year, I'll take the estimated value for the car. So this is a very simple way to do it. There are many ways to build decision models. This is just a simple starting example. And here, for the risk, the same. You can click and edit the risk. So this is the factor of risk, if the person have accidents in the past 5 years or not, and things like that. And in the end, I have a calculation of the risk rate based on the risk index, which is a combination of the risk factors. So here, in this case, it's just a simple sum. It does not matter a lot how the decisions are done. I just wanted to show you that you can do both tables, like here in the vehicle decision table, or calculations in an expression language, and a few other ways. But the idea is, again, that you can have these decisions modeled and change it by an analyst with a standard notation that is hopefully better than code for those areas and professionals. Of course, this is code in the end, and that's nice. So if I open this in text editor, you're going to see that it's XML, and it can be easily edited by AI assistants. So if you prefer using AI LLMs such as Cloud Code or Copilot or whatever, they can build the source, and you can have that reflected in the model, which is quite useful. So depending on your preferred tool, you can use that and have the same effect in the end. Also, this is not only in your IDE. We're going to see the same model in the decision control server. So let's see if our instance is up. Yeah, so here's the same repository, finishing the configuration. And here in models, you can see the same model that I just showed you in my local IDE, right? So this is one way to go about it. And here in terminal, we can see the workspace finishing the execution. I'll create a new terminal here to show you something extra. This uses DevBox, so we can use DevBox services attach to see the processes coming up. So that's a simple health check. The database for everything, which is a Postgres database. The decision control server from Aletyx already started, and the Quarkus Vaadin app starting from Maven. All of those processes are defined here in process compose. So here's the health check, the database, it's just a Docker container. The decision control, which is also a Docker container passing the proper variables, pointing to the database and so on. And the app, finally, there's a small script to start the app, and the readiness probes to check when it's ready. So it should be ready in a second. Here in ports, we can see the ports that are open, and here sometimes this happens to be private, so to make it easier to access with less confirmations, I'll change the application port 8080 to public and just click this link, and here we are. Continue. That's a safe link. It will redirect automatically to /app, where our beautiful app is running. Yay! So here it's very simple. I'll go in and get a code. There's a few random buttons to help you out, but the random details you can change, add the data that you want, the car model, make, and your data. The most important parts here are if there was accidents and traffic and the year and make of the car. That's what's going to impact the app. And that's not the most exciting form in the world, I understand, but that's how enterprise apps usually are. The important thing here is that if you get a code, it will not be hard-coded. All this value, for example, this 32,000 for a 2026 Honda Accord, you can easily see that it came from our estimated vehicle value decision table. So if we go to Honda Accord, that's what it's set to be worth. And if the business person needs to change this, it doesn't need to change the code again, it just needs to change the model. And that is running on decision control, which is right beside on the 8081 port and accessed via HTTP. So it doesn't need to be Java, it could be any language that can make an HTTP request. And the same for the risk rate, and finally the premium calculated based on my risk. So this is what we mean by accountable AI. Even if in 1 year from now someone wants to see why this decision was taken the way it was, it's stored, it is versioned, it is mapped to the business needs, and if the business needs changes, it can be changed in the model, right? And I'll accept, and there's just a thank you page, and that's pretty much it. If you'd like to learn more about decision modeling and decision in general for enterprise apps, check out Aletyx and Cogito. So here you can see many resources and documentation on how to build better models, more complex decisions, and also other types of models, because it's not only for rules for decision models. You can also map process with business process modeling notation, which is the flow of the process instead of just a single decision. And we're going to see how they work in deeper detail and how they integrate in future demos. If you'd like that, leave a comment and see you in the next one.